The Travis Scott and Jordan brand are planning something massive. Yeezy Day ended up making a shocking amount of money and a whole lot more. But before we jump into the upcoming stuff, let's do a quick little release recap, starting with the Tiana Taylor Air Jordan 1 Zoom Comfort 2. Now, this pair of shoes ended up being a lot more limited or a lot higher in demand than I think a lot of people were expecting. Naturally, they instantly sold out and are reselling, which is actually pretty crazy for a Jordan 1 Zoom Comfort. And then, of course, we had Yeezy Day. Going into this, we didn't really know what to expect, whether Adidas was just going to load up a couple pairs and release those and then kind of spread out the releases or just drop all of them. They ended up dropping all of them. Around the US, Yeezy Day 2023 happened on May the 31st. Here in the UK, it was June the 1st. We pretty much all got the same releases. I think the US, you guys actually had a postponement on the Pirate Black. And then I think you guys also had this darker colorway of the Foam Runner, but everything else I think was all the same in the different regions. So obviously this whole Yeezy Day thing is pretty crazy in and of itself. The fact that the whole Yeezy collaboration ended and then Adidas turns around and decides to sell them. Despite all of that, it actually ended up being a massive success. There's this post over here saying that 682,300 pairs of Yeezys released. $170.5 million sold with 2 releases left, meaning they posted this figure at the end of Yeezy Day. Then, like I said, a couple of those releases were postponed for you guys out in the US. That was the Pirate Blacks and I believe like a Foam Runner or a couple of Foam Runners. And the craziest part is that Kanye West pocketed over 25 million in one day, just chilling. I think one of the big kind of important things to take away from Yeezy Day 2023 is that obviously it seemed to work out for Adidas. People bought these shoes, they completely sold out. So does that mean, are they going to do this again? Are they going to release more Yeezys in the future? I think it's almost certain at this point, because even though we had a lot of Yeezys released on Yeezy Day 2023, that's only a fraction of what Adidas has in their warehouse. They have a bunch more than what you saw on Yeezy Day. And I believe they're still actively producing other Yeezys. For starters, let's take a look at this next story. It's an upcoming Yeezy Slide, an MX version, and a brown colorway that you can see in the background. It kind of looks like the Flax Foam Runner. So these two pairs are obviously fresh off of the lot. We've seen kind of leaks and rumors from Yeezy Mafia and other people. They've got so many different Yeezys that they've produced and they were lined up to release that we didn't see a release of on Yeezy Day this year, so we're bound to see a release in the near future. A restock of the Desert Boots, this pair of 350s, this Mixture Effects 350, the Granite Slides. There's so many different pairs. Like, this list goes on and on and on. But as we know, after Adidas releases all of these Yeezys, that's pretty much it. Kanye is definitely going his own way. He's building his own thing. We'll get into Kanye's plans later on in the video. Either way, guys, let me know how Yeezy Day went for you. Did you manage to get all of the pairs that you wanted? I certainly did, and you guys will see a video this week, I imagine, whenever they come in. All right, let's keep it moving into some more of this upcoming stuff. So we've got another colorway of the Bad Bunny Adidas Campus, and it's called the Brown Suede. I've told you guys the Campus Bad Bunny is a sick pair of sneakers with great quality and some really dope material. I prefer the original. This one just kind of is just a very slight change, but if you haven't picked up a pair of these things, well, maybe you like this colorway. Seeing this pair, it's got the box, it's got the tags and everything, so I would imagine a release is relatively soon. However, at this point, we don't exactly know. We got our brand new first looks at an upcoming Air Jordan 4 Craft. Take a look at this one right here. This is the upcoming colorway. These are going to be dropping on December the 2nd. I think most of the mock-ups were just using the regular Craft 4s and then just kind of changing the colors, and that's pretty much what this pair of shoes is. As you can see on this pair, it also comes with the suede replacing the rubber mesh that you normally find on a traditional pair of Jordan 4s. It's got a bunch of suede, a bunch of different materials. It's got that random suede patch over by the ankle area that the original Crafts had, and overall it looks like a solid pair. I still prefer the original Crafts over this pair. Not that this one's bad by any means, I just prefer the color scheme of the first one. A little update on a pair of sneakers that we spoke about last week, and that is the Stussy Nike Vandal High Deep Royal Blue. Actually, there's going to be 3 different colorways of this collaboration. There's going to be this deep royal blue one, there's going to be a black one, and like I predicted, there's going to be that sail colorway. And like I said last week, I'm pretty underwhelmed by this collaboration. It looks very, very similar to the past Air Force One collaboration. All that you're getting with this is another new colorway. You're getting this royal blue one. This one's not for me, but I mean, hey, it's a Stussy Nike collaboration. I'm sure it's going to be relatively popular. These are going to be dropping right around the corner on June the 15th. All right, we got another update on a pair of sneakers that a lot of people have been asking me about. The CLOT Fragment Nike Dunk Low. These were supposed to release or had some kind of juice store exclusive release, I think early last month, but we have an update. They're loaded up on the Nike sneakers app. They're set to release release on June the 14th. This is the pair, the more I see, the more interested I am in it. I think it's pretty solid, and if I can have a chance to go and grab these things, I'm definitely going to be putting my name in the hat. I also expect them to be very, very limited, considering this is a triple collaboration. The day before those dunks drop, we also have another collaboration, which I think people were really, really excited for, and they might be a little bit disappointed. I think some people are. This is the Jacquemus Nike J Force 1. These are going to be dropping on June the 13th. Now, there's two different colorways, this all over white one, and then there is also a triple black pair, just to go with the general theme of course, the basic Air Force 1. This pair of shoes is pretty crazy. So if you take a look at that midsole and outsole, or just the general design of it, it changes the Air Force 1 significantly, to the point where it looks like a completely different silhouette. The general rule of thumb for a lot of people who end up collaborating on the Air Force 1 is to not change too much, because it is literally the most popular Nike silhouette, so most people just throw a logo on it, like Drake and Supreme. But Jacquemus has actually dared to do something different. I would really be interested to hear what you guys have to say about it down in the comments. Well, we finally got our first looks at the upcoming Air Jordan 5 Midnight Navy. Now, this one's really interesting because it kind of looks like it takes a lot of the upper design details from the Craft 5s that we just saw. I actually really liked the Craft Jordan 5. I thought a lot of people were kind of sleeping on it because obviously it was an original colorway. It's got that kind of cracked style leather or suede that the Crafts used. I think this colorway looks pretty solid. Either way, these are the first looks, and the release date is supposed to be November the 10th, 2023. We got our first leaked image of the upcoming collaboration between Nike and Awake New York. Obviously, it's the Nike Airship model, which Nike has been pushing pretty hard over the past few months. We've seen a bunch of really solid colorways. This is literally the only image we have, so I'm not entirely sure whether this is going to be two different colorways or if they're going to be mismatched. I think both of these colorways look pretty solid from what I can tell. Now, this is the first leaked image that we have of this pair of shoes, so we have no idea when these are going to release. New Balance just got themselves a fresh new collaborator. Take a look at this right here. New Balance announced his new sneaker for Portland-based rapper Amine. So Amine and New Balance are going to be making some kind of sneaker that we do not know yet. As you can see, there's some billboards put up here. I think he also posted on his Instagram and different social media accounts that this collaboration was happening. I wouldn't really expect anything too crazy, but it's definitely nice seeing that New Balance is kind of moving away from some of the collaborators that they've used over and over again, like Jones, Saleh Bembury, Aim Leon Dore, all of those. I think it's nice that they're kind of, you know, taking a different approach and keeping things fresh. I don't really know too much about this collaboration just yet, so if we get any more info, I'll let you guys know. Last week, we got leaked images of LaMelo Ball's third signature sneaker with Puma, and now we've got another pair of shoes on the way. They're switching it up to slides this time. So these are basically the new Puma MB.03 slides, so it's kind of based off of the model, at least some of these colorways are. Honestly, these don't look too bad. They actually look pretty creative from a slide standpoint. At the end of the day, there's only so much you can do with a slide design. Now, as of right now, we don't have a release date for these slides or the MB.03 sneaker model, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. However, they should be dropping this year. All right, let's get into this Travis Scott news, because we have been seeing one thing after another, and it's getting pretty crazy to the point where it just looks like Travis Scott and Nike are in the works of planning something pretty massive. So over the past few weeks, we've started seeing leaks of a bunch of different Travis Scott sneakers. Now he's been wearing another Nike sneaker, but this one does have some correlating evidence to kind of figure out that, you know, if we do some detective work, this kind of looks like it's probably his next signature sneaker model. So this is the first one here. It's basically him going on stage, and we get this very kind of blurry, hard to see look. It definitely has the backwards Nike swoosh, and it has Jack under the bottom, which you can assume on the other pair it says Cactus. I kind of saw him wearing another shoe with a very similar design. So this pair of shoes right here, you can see it's got these straps over the toe box, so it kind of looks, I don't know, some Air Yeezy 1 type strap. I guess what a lot of people are assuming is that these are all samples of his first upcoming signature sneaker model with Nike or Jordan brand. If you take a look at this image right here, this is the same pair that he was wearing on court with the strap over the toe box. But if you take a look at this midsole, it also looks very similar to the pair that he was wearing on stage, just a different color. I mean, this colorway from afar just looks like the olives with a strap over the toe box. Either way, it looks like Travis Scott is working on at least 1 or 2 models, potentially more, and a bunch of different colorways. Not just that, but we've also got leaks of a brand new Air Jordan 1 Travis Scott collaboration. I know you thought that Travis Scott was not going to do ones anymore. Well, basically he's not doing normal ones. This right here, what you're looking at, is a golf version. I know, I didn't believe it when I first saw it either. I really don't understand this. I mean, the only explanation could be that Jordan Brand is trying to inject some of that Travis Scott hype into their golf lineup of sneakers. And these kind of look like the reverse mochas. It's pretty hard to tell from this image because the colors look a little bit off. I'm not entirely sure what the quality is going to be like on this pair, whether it's going to kind of line up with a lot of the golf shoes which they've done in the past, which have pretty terrible leather quality. We all know for a fact that when these do release, more people will be wearing them casually than actually playing golf in them. That is just 100% a fact. Either way, there's a bunch happening with Jordan Brand, Nike, and Travis Scott, and we can just expect a lot to come in the very near future. Alright, so at the beginning of the video, we talked about Yeezy Day, so how Kanye West made a bunch of money off of Yeezy Day. Well, he also now has access to the $75 million that Adidas froze. Now, this is pretty interesting because if you guys remember all the way back to when Adidas first kind of canceled the collaboration, Kanye West said that Adidas froze $75 million in his bank account. But apparently Adidas wasn't really supposed to freeze this money because now a New York judge has denied Adidas's request for a temporary restraining order to refreeze $75 million in Yeezy's funds. The judge said that Adidas freezing Yeezy's money didn't give Yeezy a fair chance to reply. They denied this. Adidas then tried to refreeze the money and they got denied again. So now Yeezy has access to this $75 million. This is still ongoing. There is still an underlying battle between Kanye West and Adidas. Just because Adidas is releasing Yeezys, it doesn't mean that the two are happily married again. In fact, it seems like Kanye West is making a lot of individual moves. This right here is a Craigslist listing from Yeezy Brand looking for a food shelter clothing internship. What Yeezy is looking for is a graphic designer, photography, photo editing, pattern making, social media, warehouse logistics, apparel manufacturing, and product development. I think the main thing that a lot of people pointed out about this job listing was the fact that the hourly pay is $16.04. Because a lot of people are saying that this is ridiculously low. Essentially, the takeaway is that Kanye West is definitely making moves to rebuild and basically start his own Yeezy brand all over again. This man is building, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more from him in the near future. And moving on from the Yeezy news, we got a leaked image of an upcoming Adidas pair that I thought was pretty interesting, so I wanted to show you guys. This is an upcoming Adidas AdiFOM Climacool 2023. This is obviously a sample. You can see by the sample tag over here on the laces, but this is definitely a model that takes a lot from the freaking AdiFOM Qs or the Quakes. It obviously has that exoskeleton foam outer layer and then the inner sock piece which kind of molds together, fits together. This looks a lot less chunky than the AdiFOM Qs, which like is my biggest problem with that pair of shoes. Like, you put those things on foot and now you suddenly got a pair of shoes that looks 2 sizes too big. Yeah, just wanted to show you this image. We don't know when it's going to release, probably this year. We got a quick couple updates from your favorite resale platforms. We'll start with eBay. They launched a new authentication for streetwear. This is actually pretty big. It furthers eBay's ability to actually compete with places like StockX and Go. This new authenticity guarantee now covers streetwear items $200 plus. Eligible brands include Aime Leon Dore, Kith, Off-White, Stone Island, among others. I'm sure they're going to be adding plenty more in the near future, but it's definitely good to see that eBay is expanding and just aiming to compete more with GOAT and StockX. Now, speaking of StockX, they've made a few changes as well. StockX lowers selling fees, significantly raises requirements for seller levels. This story mainly pertains to people who are like heavy resellers on the StockX platform. Basically, StockX has an all-new seller level structure comparison. So for people that are just like one-time sellers, well, there is a 1% reduction in the base fee for sellers of any level. Although these base fees have been lowered across the board, the number of sales required to reach new seller level and thus achieve lower seller fees has increased by an average of 3 times the dollar amount sold and 5 times in total units sold quarterly. Overall, if you're a seller on StockX and you sell on there quite a lot, then I would definitely recommend reading this article. Just brush up on these new seller levels and the different prices, because that's probably going to affect you in the long term. All right, we got a little update on the Fat Joe Nike Air Force One Terra squad. We've got 2 different colorways, and we now have release dates. So this is the black and white pair that we've seen leaked and rumored for a while now, and these are going to be dropping on August the 19th. White and the pink and the gray colorways are also going to be dropping on August the 19th. Alright, final story for today, and let me ask you a question. Are you sick of Jordans, Air Maxes, and Nike Dunks? It seems like Nike themselves are sick of those sneakers. Nike is shuffling executives and searching for its next breakthrough innovation as unwanted Air Maxes and Air Jordans pile up. I think it's no surprise that we've seen an increasing amount of Jordans, Air Maxes, Dunks, and different Jordan models and stuff like that that previously sold out that is now sitting on shelves. So yeah, basically people are saying that there's not enough compelling new product offerings from Nike, and the older stuff is just becoming stale. After 2 years of heavy retro buying, many consumers have also filled their closets with Jordans, Dunks, and Blazers. They don't need another pair. It makes a lot of sense. It's very clear that obviously retros had a huge boom like in 2020, 2021. Everything was selling out, but things are slowing down now, and I think people are kind of looking for the next thing. I think that just creates a lot of opportunity from a bunch of different brands. You know, they all have an opportunity to present something completely new and try and think outside of the box. Either way, I would love to know your thoughts on that. Are you also sick of Dunks, Jordans, and Air Maxes? Let me know down in the comment section. But guys, that pretty much wraps it up for this week's news. I'll catch you guys for the news next week. In the meantime, check out this video over here.